So there is a lot of big Nintendo Switch 2 news and information to go over. Some crazy stuff happening over at Sony, apparently with them running a Gran Turismo game on the Nintendo Switch 2. So we're going to break down what that could mean. We've got big updates on Bethesda games and the future tech of the Nintendo Switch 2, Marvel as well, some old school classic beat 'em ups, and just a bunch of great Nintendo Switch 2 news. But before we continue on, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2. All you have to do to enter is hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed, and drop a comment below. We are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 once we hit 150,000 subscribers, and it will be random. So the more that you actually comment and interact, the better chance that you have to win. Hit that like button, click that notification bell, and let's go ahead and jump right back into it. So Jeff Grubb recently shared on his latest episode of Game Mess Decides that Sony apparently had a version of Gran Turismo 7 running on the Nintendo Switch 2.
And Gran Turismo is a weird one.
Bizarre.
I heard recently that Gran Turismo was running on the Switch 2. I don't think it's going to come to the Switch 2, but I heard it was running on the Switch 2. So it's like, man, that's weird. Okay, cool, but just put it on PC then. Like if you're considering Switch 2, obviously PC must be a no-brainer. Still not on the PC. Weird.
And he was kind of perplexed why they would even do this. He doesn't think that it's actually coming out. So it's not like Sony's going third party or they're putting all their games on the Nintendo Switch 2 or some stuff like that. I did see some people talking about it that way. And there's really two reasons why I think Sony would do something like this, or two separate explanations. I think one explanation, which is probably the most likely one, is that they want to test out exactly what the Nintendo Switch 2 is, how powerful it was, what it can do, its capabilities, for competitive reasons. They wanted to see exactly what this system can do, and they also have their own handheld that they have in development, and they wanted to see what can we do with our own handheld compared to the Nintendo Switch 2 specs wise. How well does one of our big games that's on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, not on PC yet, but on PS4 and PS5, how well does this handle on here? Then we can get data and we can understand how to build a competent handheld system, because they haven't built anything in decades or a decade plus when it comes to the PlayStation Vita. That was a long time ago. Tech has progressed a lot since then. So I think they were actually looking at it in that type of way, testing. Now, the other explanation why they would do this, let's just say on the slim chance that they do decide or are deciding to put this out on Nintendo Switch 2, the only thing that I can think of is that they consider this a live service style of game, and that putting it on the Nintendo Switch 2 wouldn't be that big of a deal because it's going to be microtransactions, it's going to be always online, or a game that really depends on online, and they want to get more sales in Japan because you're not going to really be able to sell too much of Gran Turismo when it comes to PS4 or PS5. I mean, it's done okay there at launch, but really the sales tailed off pretty quickly. So I'm guessing maybe if they just want some extra sales and they feel that Gran Turismo isn't a game that really moves the needle when it comes to console sales in Japan. People aren't buying a PS5 or a PS4. Well, PS4 is done at this point, but they're not buying a PS5 for this game. So maybe they feel that this is more of a live service, kind of like a Helldivers situation, and they don't mind putting it on the Nintendo Switch 2, especially for, once again, Japanese sales. So I think those are really the only two explanations at this point. I mean, they could just do it just to test things out because they have dev kits. They did do a couple different games at this point when it comes to the Horizon game. That was done at Guerrilla, the Horizon Lego game, and MLB The Show. They also have dev kits there at that team. So I'm thinking that there was something there. But if it's the Gran Turismo team, then obviously that's in Japan. But I don't think this means all of a sudden Gran Turismo 7 and all of Sony's games are coming over. I still think Sony sees the Nintendo Switch 2 as a big competitor. I think that Sony definitely has made many moves in order to try to counteract the Nintendo Switch 2 from trying to keep the PlayStation 5 price low here in the US with that $399 Fortnite bundle, to making a Japanese language model only in Japan to counteract the Nintendo Switch 2, which Sony admitted that's the reason why they made the Japanese language package, model only, cheaper PlayStation 5. Because the Nintendo Switch 2 was doing so well, they did a $100 discount when it comes to Black Friday deals in the US at the end of last year to try to get more sales than they would. So they are clearly looking at the Nintendo Switch 2 in all aspects when it comes to some development, when it comes to competition, when it comes to price. So I think that's really what it comes down to with this. But we will see what happens going forward in the future. So what do you guys think about Gran Turismo 7 apparently running on the Nintendo Switch 2? If this is correct, let me know in the comment section below. But now we are going to move on to the next topic here, and this one's exciting for the future of different games because Bethesda recently put out the Fallout 4 Anniversary Collection. Now, this is a collection of all of the content and everything in Fallout 4. You get all the DLCs, you get all of the updates. It's a pretty good package overall for the Nintendo Switch 2 at $60. You're getting hundreds and hundreds of hours of content if you do everything, and it's in at #1 on the eShop right now. So a lot of Nintendo Switch 2 players are picking up Fallout 4 Anniversary. And here's the thing, it's going to get even better according to Bethesda. They said this on Twitter: "Thank you to everyone who has already jumped into explore the Commonwealth of Nintendo Switch 2. In addition to our current 60 FPS and 40 FPS modes, we'll be adding the following in an upcoming update: support for DLSS and additional stability improvements." So it's definitely good that they're adding in stability. They have a 60 FPS mode. It's a bit blurry in that mode, so if they can get that higher with DLSS, that would be great. That'd be really the best way for a lot of people to be able to play it, because from what I'm understanding, between the 30, 40, and 60 FPS modes, the 30 FPS, it's 30, so it doesn't quite feel as good, but you're going to get visual clarity that's near the PlayStation 5. If you play it at the 60 FPS mode, you're getting that nice 60 FPS with some dips here and there, but pretty good 60 FPS, but the resolution isn't quite as good. But the 40 FPS mode is pretty much like the sweet spot where you're getting a pretty good image clarity, but then you're also getting that extra 10 FPS to make it feel a bit more responsive. However, if you add in some good DLSS support, you can play it at 60 FPS and probably get the clarity that you get at 40 FPS, and the 40 FPS will probably even be better image clarity than what they had before. So I think it's going to be cool to see when they get that DLSS support out and that patch pushed to kind of do the comparisons of the images and all of that. So very cool stuff there. So what do you guys think? I think that this tech, when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2 DLSS, is awesome, and it's really going to help out the Nintendo Switch 2 when it comes to older ports coming over, when it comes to getting better FPS on games, and when it comes to just how games are going to look. So what do you guys think? You can let me know in the comment section below. All right, next up, we're going to talk about a brand new old school beat 'em ups collection. A lot of games that I played back in the day. I'm very glad that this collection has been announced, and it's called the Marvel Maximum Collection, and the X in the Maximum is a big X here. So here's what you're getting when it comes to the Marvel Maximum Collection, and this one's by Konami. I think Limited Run Games is also handling this as well. So the games included are X-Men, the arcade game, and you're getting the real arcade game here. This one's exciting because it is the definitive mutant beat 'em up when it comes down to it. A lot of people still think that this is still one of the best, if not the best, X-Men game beat 'em up experiences out there. It's the full thing though. You get the legendary cabinet action with full online multiplayer support for up to 6 players. You can choose your favorite X-Men and take on Magneto's army with the ultimate team-up experience. You also get Captain America and the Avengers, the arcade Sega Genesis / Mega Drive Nintendo Entertainment System version as well. You get Spider-Man / Venom Maximum Carnage from the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, and that's pretty cool. I used to play Maximum Carnage all the time back in the day. Then you also get Venom / Spider-Man Separation Anxiety from the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, so that's awesome. It's the sequel when it comes to that one. And then you also get Spider-Man / X-Men Arcade's Revenge. This is from the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and Mega Drive, Game Boy, and Game Gear, and you can navigate the deadly murder world. This collection includes the handheld versions of the game, offering a fascinating look at Marvel's history of on-the-go gaming. And you get the Silver Surfer game. That's from the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it's not really that great in my opinion, but it's really hard. Some people really like this game though, but I'm not as big of a fan. Now here are the cool additional features. You get the archives. Dive into a digital archive featuring high-resolution scans of the original box art, instruction manuals, and vintage advertisements. You get the music player. Kick back and listen to the iconic chiptune scores from every version of every game in the collection. Rewind and save states. Finally, conquer the deadly walls of Silver Surfer or the boss gauntlets of Arcade's Revenge with the ability to rewind gameplay and save anywhere. For some people, they'll never be able to beat these games without these features, so I like it. Display options, playing crisp, modern pixels, or recreate the Saturday morning experience with CRT and scanline filters. You also got rollback netcode for X-Men, the arcade game, so that's going to get you smoother online play with less issues. You got the museum and cheat menus as well, so this is a full package with the Marvel Maximum Collection. It's coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and the Nintendo Switch 1. I don't see Nintendo Switch 2 here, but I'm guessing there really wouldn't be much changes there. And of course, Switch 2 is backwards compatible. So this is definitely a good collection here. I'm going to be checking it out, especially for the X-Men arcade game and Maximum Carnage plus Separation Anxiety. Those are games that I played back in the day a lot. The X-Men arcade game, I never got a chance to really play a lot of that. I did see a cabinet, and I know I've played it before, but I never really played too much of it, and I never caught it when they re-released it or anything like that. I've never played it on the home consoles and stuff. So what do you guys think about the Marvel Maximum Collection? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, next up, let's talk about Resident Evil Requiem and how pre-orders and the physical copies of this game are going crazy right now. What is happening? So if you look at Resident Evil Requiem at a lot of different places, people are reporting that they can't find physical copies, that they're sold out in many different places, that it's just hard to get one. I went and checked my Amazon, and my Generations pack on the Nintendo Switch 2 that comes with Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, and Resident Evil Requiem has not even been shipped yet. The release date is tomorrow as of the time that I'm recording this video, and they haven't even shipped it. It's not coming till Monday, according to them. So something happened here between Capcom and what's going on with physical copies. Now, I'm not trying to accuse Capcom of intentionally having less of this or getting physical copies out later or whatever the case is, but I think that they severely underestimated what they were going to need to have for physical copies of Resident Evil. I think that they underestimated it, and now they're scrambling to get more copies done, more pre-orders sent over, and all that. Even some people got their reservations canceled for physical editions just because they ran out of the pre-orders. So it's been kind of crazy when it comes to this game. Now, this is the first real major AAA release of 2026. So I know people are hungry to get into Resident Evil. They love the fact that Leon is coming back. Leon is a fan favorite. Now, we also have updates. If you haven't seen my video before talking about Resident Evil Requiem, we have updates on the Nintendo Switch 2 version. Pretty good review score when it comes to all versions of the game. High 80s, low 90s at this point. But Resident Evil Requiem on the Nintendo Switch 2 in particular, it plays great. There are some frame rate drops in super heavy areas, but for the most part, it plays great. The image quality is not bad, and it's running really good. A lot of reviewers have said that they've played it start to finish on the Nintendo Switch 2, and it plays really well. So that's definitely a good thing to see, that Resident Evil, a game like this, Resident Evil Requiem, day and date on the Nintendo Switch 2, along with all the other platforms, is doing pretty well. Now, I still think that there might be game key card versions of Resident Evil Requiem that you can pick up. So if you want to get a game keycard version Resident Evil Requiem on the Nintendo Switch 2. Those might still be available, but yeah, it definitely seems like there was some issues with the shipping and trying to find where this game is and all of that. So it's kind of crazy there. But what do you guys think when it comes to Resident Evil Requiem? Do you plan on picking up the game? I have a PS5 review copy of the game that I'm going to be going through, and I will wait for my Generations pack to come in the mail on Monday. So I am set when it comes to Resident Evil. But what do you guys think? You can let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.